Ever wondered why your eyes in drawings look dull no matter how much you shade? Today you'll learn how to make them glow. And the best part is that by the end, you'll also learn the secret technique. So stay with me till the end because this one lesson can completely change how you draw realism forever. I want you to remember one thing. Hyperrealism is for everyone. You don't need 100 fancy tools or a perfect setup to draw something that feels alive. Even with 1 or 2 good pencils, a sharp eraser and patience, you can create magic. Start by darkening the outlines using your 8B pencil. This is where your pressure control becomes the main character. Think of it like adjusting the volume on a speaker. Similarly, you don't need a new tool for every tone, just the right touch. Press harder where you want deep shadows and ease up where you need softness. Perfecting this one of my favorite pressure techniques not only saves time, but also gives you total control over light and shade. Now move toward the eyebrows. Place your pencil where the hair begins and flick upward in one clean curved motion. Imagine them as tiny brush strokes, not soldiers standing in a straight line. If they all stand straight and stiff, your eyebrow will look more like a barcode than a brow. Cluster a few together for that wet clump texture. Keep the inner corner soft and the outer tail thinner, just like in real life. Many beginners make this mistake of pressing too hard while shaping the eyebrows, which dents the paper and makes blending impossible later. You can fix this by keeping your grip loose, and think of holding your pencil like a paintbrush instead of a knife. Next step is to add a soft base layer over the brow bone and nearby eye area using your B pencil. Hold it low and glide gently. The lead should float, not drag. If you press too hard, it's like arguing with your paper and nobody wins. Layer the graphite slowly until you see a smooth gradient forming. Now always blend the base layer using a medium dry brush in small circular motions. This is where your strokes start to melt into each other. And if you don't have a dry brush, a clean eyeshadow brush or soft makeup brush from your sister's vanity works great too. Avoid heavy pressure as pushing too hard will press graphite deep into the tooth of the paper, making blending later feel like ironing wrinkles out of water. By the way, if you're a complete beginner and you keep throwing away your drawings because you feel like you just can't draw, it's not your fault. You just don't know the basics yet. And that's exactly why I made this full course, to help you go from shaky lines to realistic drawings step by step. It covers everything from basic lessons to advanced techniques, tips and tricks, all structured in a clear step-by-step format, so you don't have to guess your way through it. Thousands of students are already learning and growing through the course, and it's currently one of the top-rated drawing courses on Udemy. I put my course on sale for 5 days every month just for my YouTube family. Check the link in the description or comments to see if the sale is live right now, and get enrolled before it ends. Now it's time to bring light back into the drawing. Use your mono zero eraser with a flat tip and gently follow the curve of the waterline. And if you don't own a mono zero, don't worry. Just cut the edge of a regular eraser with a sharp blade to make your own precision tip. And that's how you get DIY hyperrealism at its best. Keep the pressure low on the edges and a little stronger near the center, just like how real light fades naturally. Now for the softer highlights, pick your perfection eraser and start working on the sclera. Lighten it gently in circular motions. And remember that the whites of the eyes aren't actually white. They're soft grays and blues that pick up nearby shadows. Keep your eraser tip clean, because a dull and dirty one can blur details instead of lifting them. You can also add this curved stroke on the under eye crease as well to give the whole eye a detailed look. Now the next task is to make the iris look glass-like. For that, always add that tiny reflection of light using an electric eraser. That single bright dot is like the heartbeat of your eye, and without it, everything feels flat. And if you don't have an electric eraser, don't worry, you can still achieve similar results using a white gel pen to tap a single bright dot. You can go over it lightly with a jelly roll pen or correcting pen, which you use in your school to make this highlight even more shiny. And don't worry, if the highlights are looking a bit too wide and uneven, You can go around it with the grade of pencil which matches the surrounding to make it even. And in this case, I'm using an 8B pencil. Now for the rim of the iris, softly go over the lighter side, which in this case is the left one, using your perfection eraser, adding gentle circular movements with low pressure. If the texture feels lost, go around the inner edge of the iris with tiny circular strokes using your B pencil. These tiny details act like fingerprints, and no two are ever the same. A common mistake which many artists make is outlining the pupil too hard. That harsh border can make it look like a sticker instead of a real eye. Instead, feather the edges and let darkness fade naturally into the midtone. The next step is to add the textural lines in the iris. And the trick is very simple. Just grab your mono zero eraser or any eraser you have with a sharp tip and start adding these thin strokes starting from the edge of the pupil and flicking it towards the outer edge of the iris. This will give us the right amount of texture to make the iris look shiny like a glass. Also, if one eye is slightly brighter than the other, then you can skip the base highlights using a perfection eraser and directly use a mono zero eraser and pick up the graphite by adding these straight strokes all along the rim. Always remember that balancing tones is like seasoning food. A little too much or too little can change the entire flavor of your drawing. Now let's move to the lashes, which are the most expressive part of the eye and the one most beginners struggle with. Start with your mono zero eraser, making delicate curved strokes from base to tip. Each lash has its own direction, its own story. Think of them as dances, no two moving exactly the same, but together creating rhythm and flow. Keep your hand relaxed and pressure light. Beginners often make the mistake of drawing lashes that are too straight or all facing one way. My secret fix to this problem is to study your reference closely. Lashes naturally overlap and curve differently based on light. Randomness adds realism. Also, if the lash stroke looks thicker than you want, refine it with your darker pencil beside it. And for that glossy, tiny water droplets finish, add tiny water droplets along the lashes using your electric eraser. Just a few are enough to make them shimmer without stealing attention. Again, you can use a jelly roll pen or a white correction pen if you don't have an electric eraser. Finally, refine the brow bone. Lift soft highlights with the perfection eraser so it feels round and lifted. Add sharper strokes using the mono zero. These fine slanted lines mimic the tiny skin textures above the eye. When you step back, you'll see how every stroke, every tiny flick of light and shadow connects together, like pieces of glass forming one clear reflection. That's the magic moment, when the eye doesn't just look real, it feels alive. And remember, tools don't create realism, you do. Even with a single pencil and a bit of patience, you can draw something powerful. So the next time your drawing feels off, don't blame your supplies. Just slow down, trust your process and let your strokes speak. If you enjoyed watching these eyes come to life, just wait until you see the next part. You're going to be surprised. I just launched the AHR Studios Academy, so if you're an absolute beginner and want to learn drawing from scratch, you can join my course here for 90% off. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.